Head on over to our sponsors, Wrestling Pins, at wrestlingpins.bigcartel.com for awesome handcrafted, beautifully made pins such as The Undertaker, The Ultimate Warrior, and Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, if you head on over and you put the promo code IOHPOD15, you get 15% off your order. Just enter that at checkout. That's IOHPOD15 for 15% off your order. And Dees, tell them about our affiliates.
Yeah, we've got a load of affiliate links. If you head over to our link tree, linktr.ee/It's Our House Pod, we've got loads of brands on there, pop sockets, we've got art prints, we've got gym clothes, we've got loads of stuff, loads of codes down there to save yourself 10, 15% off. Head on over there as soon as you can.
Yep, and every click helps out the pod. Hello, everyone, and welcome to a brand new episode of It's Our House podcast with Faz and Dees. I am Faz, and he is Dees. How are you, buddy?
Really good, mate. Look at it. The sun's shining. It's a beautiful day. It's nice and early.
Yes.
Really good. Really good.
We don't need to have fake lights around us. Everything's fantastic. And it's because of our great guest that this is happening. We waited a while to get him on. We spoke to him about, I think, just over a month ago. An absolute legend in the game. He's really going to smash it over the next few years. Welcome to the show, Mr. O'Shea Edwards.
What's going on, dude? Man, you said bright and early. I was like, man, you have no idea how bright.
What time is it over your side?
It's literally 8 o'clock. And for those who don't know, I woke up not even 5 minutes ago.
He's very professional, though. This is the time he recommended, and this is the time he was on. Absolutely brilliant. How you doing, buddy?
Man, other than absolutely exhausted, man, I am so happy. I feel like I've been hit by a bus, but at the same time, like I've been smiling the whole time, and I'm like, hey, you want to back that bus up and do it again, man? Yeah, come on. This is fine. This is fine.
So your win-loss record's going really well, I take it?
Yeah. I mean, I love wrestling, man. So any chance I get to like wrestle, especially like this many times, like in a row, like I'm gonna do it. It's what I love doing. So like stuff like this, man, just really, physically, yeah, my body would probably disagree with me, but like for my soul, like it really fills my soul up when I get to wrestle this many times, and I get to have like this many, like in my mind, like some of like career defining matches.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, especially after last year and how much you must have missed it as well.
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah, strange times, but like you said, we're getting back to normal a little bit more now, aren't we? Step by step.
Yeah, just one day at a time. That's all we got. Just one day at a time, and that's pretty much all we can really, I guess, handle right now. Just one day at a time. So it's just we kind of do what we do what we can, and that's pretty much all we can really hope for.
Exactly. But before we get into anything deep, we like to start off with a bit of an icebreaker these days, O'Shea. So
we've changed things since you were last with us.
Yeah.
If you could have any one person, past or present, as your manager, who would it be and why?
Honestly, man, it's so Paul Heyman. I love that, man. Listen, that dude has such a swag about him. It's unreal. But he doesn't come off as like swarmy. He doesn't come off as slimy or anything like that. It's just, that dude's about his business and it works. And if anything, like Paul Heyman will survive anything because he's already done it. He survived. Like there's so many times where you think you have him licked and he's like, no, I got one more. And he finds a way to make it work, man. And I'm like, you don't have to like that, but you can't, there's no way you don't respect that. Like that is awesome. That is a level of adapt, of a guy watching a guy adapt, improvise, and overcome over the years, and you just like, I salute you, sir. Yes.
Yeah, I think his role with Raymond again showing a completely different side of him.
Oh man, such range. I love it.
It's brilliant.
He's done wonders for everyone he's been with, though, hasn't he? Like Punk as well, and Roman.
Yeah,
Brock
man.
Lesnar.
He is the King Midas of professional wrestling, because everything he touches turns to gold. And I'm just like, yo, brother, can you touch my hand? Just touch me. I don't want the whole thing, brother. Just reach out and just put a finger on my shoulder, man. We're good.
Excellent. I think we'll tag Mr. Heyman in this. Hopefully we can get
I'd love to get Heyman on. I'd love to get Heyman on. That's dream guest stuff, innit? Heyman, man.
Right.
I fucking love Heyman.
Definitely.
Right.
He was brilliant on Talking Smack. Did you see what he said this week?
Oh, yeah.
They got rid of the wrong female interviewer.
I saw that on Twitter, and I was like, okay. We're gonna let him go. Okay.
But he can get away with it, can't he? He says what he wants, and no one's going to do anything, are they?
He's almost like Teflon, and everything just slides right off of him.
Yeah, I don't think he's ever been referred to. He's been called a few things, but I don't think he's ever been called Teflon before.
Oh, Teflon Don, just stuff just right
That's
on
a new
off.
one.
Nothing sticks to him, man.
Right, let's bring things up to like the current day where we are at the minute. Obviously, you came on before on the show a few months ago with your brothers from FTP, Shane Taylor Promotions.
Representing right here.
Man. Obviously they recently picked up the 3-man tag belts finally. They've long deserved some gold, man, and me and Faz, as friends of STP, were just thrilled for them, ecstatic for them. What's sort of like the feeling within the group at the moment? Like, is everybody content with where they are? Have you got your eye on any gold at the minute? Like, what are you?
The feel of the group, man, is almost like, man, it's about damn time. It was something that those guys were after for a very long time, and I got to be in the back when that was going down, and it was such a euphoric feeling to see the accumulation of all that hard work like pay off. People call Shane a lot of things, but the one thing you can't call Shane is a liar. Shane told those guys, "You give me a year, I'll make you champion." I mean, I was there when he said it. He's like, "You give me a year, I'll make you guys champions," and he did it. And I'm just like, and he did it his way.
Exactly.
He could have easily just took the titles, and that would have been it, and and nobody really would have blamed you. But Shane was like, "Nah, man, that's not how we're going. If you're going to do it, we're going to do it right. Yeah, no one's ever going to give me anything. We're going to earn it." And that's exactly what they did. And it just really confirmed everything that we have set out to do. It really confirmed everything we said that we were going to do and that we're going to continue to do. In terms of my own personal aspirations, man, championships are great, but honestly, the way I operate, man, I don't need them. If I get one, cool, but that's not what I'm here for. I'm still trying to cement my place. I'm still the quote unquote new kid on the block. I'm the new kid in school, so I have to prove that not only am I supposed to be here, that I belong here. And so that goes with everything I do in the ring, everything I do out of the ring. When it's all said and done, when it's my turn to finally get the opportunity, I don't want anybody to say, "Oh man, he's got that because he's Shane's dude." It's like, no, man, I got here with or without Shane. Like, I earned this. The fact that Shane Tatum's behind me, man, that's just a solid bonus.
Definitely. And I've got to say as well, you even said before the podcast started, you've had a career-defining week in terms of some of the matches you've had. But I think I can definitely speak for myself and Dee's here that when we knew that we were getting you on, mate, we were so excited because, honest to God,
yeah, we genuinely were.
When it came after the STP interview, obviously, we've spoken to Ron, we've spoken to Shane, but honest to God, we came away from it saying we need to get O'Shea on.
Honestly, honest to God, we did. Honestly,
man, these are so much fun. These are humbling to me, man. It wasn't until Friday when I had my partner come to me and they were like, "Hey, you understand people look up to you, right?" And I was like, "What are you talking about? Like, No, why would you look up to me? I'm a moron. Like I'm just, you know, like I'm an idiot. Like I'm just a guy who just wrestles. You know, I'm like, I just so happen to be good at it. Like I'm not worth, I guess in my mind, I'm still like I'm only 6 years in, and I still find myself like there's so much more I gotta learn. There's so much more I gotta do. I'm constantly talking and I'm constantly trying to like figure out where I'm at, where I'm going, this, that, and the other. So, you know, I'm like, I don't feel as if I am anybody worth looking up to. And I don't say that to like, you know, self-deprecate myself, but I feel like there's so many other people that you could be looking up to who are doing better than me. And they had to like, no, man, like people want to wrestle you. People look up to you. You came a long way from nothing. And that really resonates with a lot of people. And one of the matches I had Friday, man, I was like, I would literally, I was that old when I realized like, oh, wow, this is real. Like, okay. And as if I didn't have enough pressure already, great. Awesome. Now I really can't screw this up. I got people looking at me now. Awesome. Also, when I can slide underneath the radar.
Yeah, I mean, you're right though. I think what, especially me and Dees, we started this in the middle of a pandemic. Best time to start it. But honestly, the fact, the way that you've been, the way Ron's been, the way Shane's been with newcomers, even like ourselves, knowing that we all need to support and help each other. That's why people look up to you, O'Shea. That is the reason why. Because you're not saying no, you're saying, I'll make time. That's the difference.
Yeah, the difference. Man. Because it's the fact that you guys actually, you know, you want to talk to me.
Yeah, man.
And I tell people all the time, if someone's is in this business and they say they don't have an ego, I'm like, come talk to me and I'll show you a liar. Like that guy's a liar. We all have egos. Wrestling, come on. But it was the issue of like to combat the fact that I have a giant ego, like I'm that humble. I'm that much more humble because I can understand, I got a big ego, dude. It's like, come on. And I wanted to make time for you guys. And on top of that, I wanted to make quality time for you guys. So I'm like, look, if I got to wake up early to talk to these boys, it's because they want to talk to me, then I'm not going to sit there and phone this thing in when I'm in a car or I'm about to get on a plane. Like, no, man, they want to talk. Yo, wake your butt up early and talk to them and give them your full undivided attention.
Is that a slight dig at Ron there?
Yeah, I was going to say Ron and Shane.
And then once you're done, if you have time, then you can go back to sleep.
Well, we do really appreciate it, my friend. Thank you.
I appreciate you.
Right, well, we'll get into the industry as a whole. Now, a lot of things have changed over the last 2 months in terms of where the business is going. What do you make of the recent AEW, New Japan Impact, NWA partnership, and why do you think we haven't seen ROH included in that?
First of all, like I love it. A high tide raises all ships, and if you have those connections, if you have those relationships, why wouldn't you use them? Like, come on, that's like having Gordon Ramsay in your back pocket to cook you a meal. You go, I'll just cook myself. Like, bro, he's right there. Like, why wouldn't you do that? I love that type of stuff. So I'm happy anytime like, AEW wants to, use those contacts or Impact wants to use those contacts. Yeah, why not? Like it's pretty dope to have, like, I call those universes come together. Just like when you get comic books and it's like the X-Men meet the Avengers. It's pretty cool. You're like, oh, that's awesome, because you never knew when the two of them would meet. So it's awesome when that happens. But in respect to Ring of Honor, one, there's people making a lot more money than me making that decision. But two, honestly, man, the way Ring of Honor's been working now, like, I'll go ahead and blow it up. I feel we don't need it. I feel as if we don't need it. We are doing things that no one else is doing right now. The pure title. Name another one. Name another company that has that. Ring of Honor is bringing the sport you know, back into wrestling again. You know, it's adding a level of legitimacy to something that for a while has been just kind of like, you know, the cat's been out of the bag. We know the rat's been in the hat the whole time, but now it's just like, okay, this is new. We're giving them something new. We're giving them something they've never seen before. And it's opening these different eyes, and it's opening these doors and avenues for other wrestlers to come in and go, hey man, look, you don't have to be 7 foot tall and this, that, and the other to make an impact. Let me show you. And the fact that, and I'll say it now, the fact that we have the best wrestler in the world in Jonathan Gresham, like, means something. And it's one of the things, yo, I'll fight you for that. Like, yo, Jonathan Gresham is the best wrestler in the world. Yo, fight me. Like, I will fight you for that. Like, he is. Like, every time I watch him, I find these little things that I'm like, yo, how did he think of that? Like, my brain doesn't even move that fast. But every time he just finds a new way to amaze me. Every time he puts on these, to me, like these 5-star matches. And, you know, for a while, like, joking on Ring of Honor used to be the fun thing to do.
Yeah.
They don't do that no more.
No.
Nobody jokes about Ring of Honor anymore. And that's exactly how it should be.
100%. I mean, I'll be honest, I'll be open. I've been a little bit critical of it, especially over the last few months. Not Ring of Honor, sorry, the major.
Right.
Purely because I don't like the fact of one company's champion pinning the other. I think it can really demean that company overall.
It's delicate, man. It's a real delicate balance to worry about.
But the one thing I've definitely respected in it, and, you know, me and Dee talk about it quite often. You know, I'm on the YouTube channel, I'm watching the clips, I'm keeping up on ROH. It is just such a different playing field in terms of what you present to your audience. And, you know, you can tell when you're watching Raw, for example, you can tell when you're watching SmackDown, NXT, AEW, the same applies to Ring of Honor. I know what I'm watching, and it's got such a core in it. It's got such a heart in it that I'm really interested to see where you're going to go over the next few years, especially once all this pandemic stuff is over.
Oh man, once this whole pandemic's over, man, it's going to be hard to keep me at home.
I was going to say, as soon as those titles were won, I bet you were out there partying hard.
It's going to be hard. Well, actually, it's not even so much the partying. It was the thing of okay, cool, we won. Now what?
Yeah.
Cool. Let's defend them. You know, winning. Like, for us, I always say, like, winning a Super Bowl is easy. Now do it again.
Yeah. You got to retain those titles, haven't you?
That's why Tom Brady is who he is. You know, he's done it 7 times. He goes, oh, that's not enough. Okay, watch, I'll win another one. Oh, that's not enough. Okay, cool, I'll win another one. There's a reason why Tom Brady is called the GOAT. Yeah. So, like, winning a championship is easy. Now defend it.
Definitely.
And then once you lose it, go get it again. So that the work has literally just begun.
I think we've said it a few times, haven't we, about, like, we're happy that Ring of Honor haven't become part of this merger, this partnership yet, because Ring of Honor is just doing Ring of Honor at the minute, rather than Impact is thinking about AEW, AEW is thinking about New Japan, New Japan's thinking about Impact. Like, just at the minute, get things back to normal, focus on yourself, make your product better. And that's what Ring of Honor have done. Like, every time I see Ring of Honor spoken about now, it's either the Pure tournament, or it's when are the women going to have their tournament soon, and it's the Pure Championship, and it's Gresham, and it's STP. It's only ever, like you say, people used to sort of look down on Ring of Honor, but now it's just, I only ever see praise.
And that's something the front office, the production, you know, the talent, man, that's exactly what they've been wanting to do for the longest time, is to bring back the, like, yo, man, listen, like, we're not to be trifled with, you know. That's the beauty of it. Is like, Ring of Honor is taking care of Ring of Honor. And when some people when other promotions want to work with us, well, yo, man, they know the number. Like, they'll call us, you know. But until then, we will take care of our house. You know, we will make sure that we are taken care of. We will make sure that we are set in what we need to do, because at the end of the day, we are the ones who have to make sure that we're good. We can't expect anybody else to do it for us.
Definitely.
Absolutely, absolutely. Right, so I want to have a bit of a chat about sort of like the landscape and the way that wrestling sort of developed just over the last, I don't know, say like the last 5-10 years. For a
Yeah.
few names at you, like Keith Lee, yourself, Luchasaurus, Dominic Dijakovic, Dave Mastiff, all these big guys that can just move and can just go and can do what some of the cruiserweights can only dream of doing. Obviously, yourself and Shane and Moses and Korn, you're all part of that discussion. Why do you think we've seen such a massive boom in the last, as I say, last sort of like, especially the last 5 years, and especially on
Right.
mainstream wrestling and on TV and in WWE and AEW? Why have we seen such a big boom of big men recently? Where we sort of came away from that for a long time,
Right.
and
Right.
then started to focus on your Daniel Bryans and your Seth Rollins, but now we seem to be getting back into it again.
Man, it's like it's an evolution. I always say that wrestling comes in ebbs and flows, and now it's becoming the flow of the athletic big man. I've had a few conversations with some other big men on the indies, and we were really feeling some type of way for a long time. Like, yo, what is it? Like, what is it? That's why are we just not being like not talked about, highlighted, stuff like that? And somebody had to tell me, it's like, hey man, it's coming. That wave is going to come. It's going to come hard, and when it does, we need to make sure that we are at the front of the line. And I remember him saying it, and I was just like, that makes a lot of sense. If this is going to be a wave, a tsunami that's going to hit so hard, why wouldn't you want to be at the front of it? And so we all kind of made this idea of that was what we were going to do, where we were going to just, let's just go ahead, put our heads down, let's grind this thing out, let's figure out what we need to do to make sure that when this thing hits, we're at the front of the line, and we're the ones that do it. But then you see guys like Keith Lee and Donovan and Bronson Reed and stuff like that, man, and you're just like, okay, cool, like it's it's okay now. We're going to be fine. Like, I remember growing up seeing guys like Kevin Nash just tower over people. Let's be for real. Kevin Nash wasn't going to do anything. I'm not going to say athletic, but Kevin Nash wouldn't leave his feet. Kevin Nash wasn't going to do it. Kevin Nash wasn't going to do a suicide. Like, you know what it was. Don't get me wrong. If he did, I would have lost my mind. but still, like, you when you saw Kevin Nash, like, you knew what you were getting, and you were cool with it because you're like, oh, it's Kevin Nash, dog. Like, yeah, man, I know what I'm about. I know what I'm here for. But for me though, I always wanted to be able to do more. I wanted to become well balanced. I wanted to make sure that I can work with anybody. Granted, you'll never see me fly. But it's one of those, from a working standpoint, it's just like, I want to make sure that if I work, a cruiserweight or work a high flyer, that it's like, okay, cool, man. O'Shea's got me. We're going to be fine. Yeah. I like to work. I tell people, someone's like, I work snug, but I work safe. You're gonna know I'm there, and if you're gonna fly, I'm gonna catch you because it's what we're supposed to do. We are professionals. But at the same time, just to be the athletic big man, it's fun to keep it in my back pocket.
Yeah,
I love having that in my back pocket. I don't have to do it all the time, which is awesome because as I'm feeling right now, I really don't feel like doing it right now. But it's nice to keep it in my back pocket so that when I need it, I got it. When I have to use it, it makes sense. And when somebody's talking to me about it, like, I know what they're talking about. It's like, I don't know what that means. I just work strong. I'm like, nah, man, come on, you got to be a little bit more well-rounded than that. Because if not, you'll work yourself into a pigeonhole. And that's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to work everywhere. We're trying to work everybody. So why wouldn't you at least attempt to broaden your horizons in terms of how we wrestle?
Definitely. I think Eric Bischoff.
Absolutely. Like you say, if you keep it in your back pocket, when you do bring it out, it means more, doesn't it? Because you're not sort of like oversaturating it. Like, look at someone like Keith Lee. He was sent back to the Performance Center because apparently Vince didn't like him doing too many moonsaults and Spanish flies. I think if you just pull it out every now and then, it reminds people that you are something more than just a powerhouse.
Exactly. Like, I do a moonsault. I tell people like, you do a moonsault? I'm like, yeah, I've done it twice and it looks good. So when are you gonna do it? Like, no. If you see me do it, something has gone awfully wrong. I was like, but it's nice to know that I got it. It's nice to know that it's in my back pocket. I'm like, but if you see me do it, like I've been paid a lot of money because I'm not doing that for free. To take that right now, that hurts. Those hurts more than anything. Those hurts.
I love it. I love it. I mean, we were saying we recently had Eric Bischoff on, and he said the perfect line is that the wrestling industry at the moment isn't all one way. It used to be. It used to be in the 80s and 90s. It was all about the superhero, you know, the big, gigantic, you know, faces and things. And then in the 90s and going into 2000s, it really changed to maybe the small guy, more, you know, more about the quick athletic. But I think we're in a time frame now where fans want everything. They want a little bit of everything in that mix. They want the big guys. They want the quick guys. They want the women getting their shot. So it says a lot to, especially Ring of Honor, when 99% of their big talents can do that type of stuff and have it in the bag.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Most definitely. And the more you can do, the more you make the front office's job easier. And the easier you make someone's job, the more often than not they're going to come ask you to do something.
Definitely, 100%.
Absolutely.
Speaking of balance, so we've got the women of Honor at the moment. Who are your picks to win the Vacant Women's title once the tournament finally begins?
Man, there's so many different names are out there, and I don't even think Ring of Honor even has. I don't think they've even really announced who is even in it. Has they? I don't think they have.
No, not yet. Not yet.
But like outside, I'm not listening to, but he has insider information. I don't. I'm so sorry, guys. I don't.
Damn it!
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. I knew what you were trying to do, and I was like, you're about to be so disappointed. So disappointed. But there's a few people out there that you really need to be on the lookout for, Ring of Honor or not. But that can really like just make waves. First and foremost, like Maxine Baylor. Like, come on, have you seen him? Huge. Then you have like Trisha Dora, who are out there just absolutely, killing it. You have Solo Darling, Willow Nightingale, Lady Frost, all that stuff. Danny Jordan, for example. Yeah. Like all these people are signed. Like you see them pop up on NWA, you see them pop on AEW, but like they're still free agents. They can go wherever they want to. And don't be surprised if Ring of Honor hasn't called them, just because you never know. That's the beauty of Ring of Honor. You never know who's going to walk through that door. And there's like this such a rise in, and let me preface this, there's such a rise in quality women's wrestling that really makes me smile, because I'm like, yo, this is what people want.
Yeah.
They want to see, women wrestle, but they want to see good women wrestle. I have this, people like, what do you mean when you say it like that? I'm like, listen, when I want a hamburger, I don't want a piece of shit hamburger. I want a good hamburger. So I'm gonna go find me a good hamburger. And if I find a place that makes a good hamburger, I'm gonna keep coming back because that burger is so damn good. So when you find quality, women's wrestling, and when you find quality representation, like you want to keep coming back to it, because like, okay, this is that good stuff right here. Yeah. So like, I'm really excited for what Ring of Honor has set out to do. I'm really excited to see what they're going to pull out, and that's on top of the roster that they already have. Yeah. I was just naming people who aren't even on the roster. You still got Sumi Sakai, you still have Angelina Love, Mandy Leon, like all that stuff. They're still there, and they're waiting. And it's when this stuff pops off, man, it's gonna be real. Like, you thought the Pure title was awesome. Yo, when this thing pops, it's gonna be really dope.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, if it's even 50% as good as the Pure tournament was, it could just take the women to the next.
Right, yeah, if it's just 50%, and that's not degrading the female talent. I was like, no, the Pure title tournament was that good.
Yeah.
Like you give me 50% of that, I'm still in 100%.
Yeah,
Yep.
definitely. And it's, women at the moment are just on the forefront of everyone's minds, aren't they? We had, obviously, when this goes out, but we had Britt Baker versus Thunder Rosa, which literally took the internet by storm. You know,
Right? Yeah, it's so good. It was
exactly. We had NXT with Dakota Kai. Had an incredible match. Impact is stacked with women. It's just we love it.
To me, outside of NXT, one of the best female divisions in professional wrestling is Impact. Sorry, Ring of Honor. It is. Sorry, like I'm gonna call a spade. Sorry, it is, man. But Ring of Honor is right there, gonna be on their heels, and I'm excited to see it.
Oh, we can't wait.
Absolutely. Head on over to our sponsors, Wrestling Pins, at wrestlingpins.bigcartel.com for awesome handcrafted, beautifully made pins such as The Undertaker, The Ultimate Warrior, and Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, if you head on over and you put the promo code IOHPOD15, you get 15% off your order. Just enter that at checkout. That's IOHPOD15 for 15% off your order. And Dees, tell them about our affiliates.
Yeah, we've got a load of affiliate links. If you head over to our link tree, linktr.ee/It's Our House Pod, we've got loads of brands on there, pop sockets, we've got art prints, we've got gym clothes, we've got loads of stuff, loads of codes down there to save yourself 10, 15% off. Head on over there as soon as you can.
Yep, and every click helps out the pod.
Right, so this is a bit of a different question. We've never really spoken about video games in the past, but to any guest, any wrestler we had on. Yeah. And as huge gamers ourselves, like, I was really keen to ask this. So you're going to be a part of the Wrestling Code from Virtual Basement soon.
Can't wait.
A whole host of legends and recent names. You got like Rob Van Dam, Eric Rowan, or Eric Redbeard, sorry. Gangrel, Matt Sydal, like I say, loads of current, loads of legends. How did that even come about, first of all? And what's it like working on a video game? Like, what's that side of the business like? Did you have much input into what was being done with your character or anything like that?
Right. So they came to me, and it was so weird because I heard the rumblings and I saw some of the sprites and the game shots and all that good stuff. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be dope, a new wrestling game, cool. And I really didn't think much about it. I'm like, all right, when it comes out, I'll give it a look. You know, I'm a gamer, so I'm like, yeah, sure. And then all of a sudden I get like a DM, and it's from Virtual Basement. It's like, hey man, we really want you in our game. And I remember looking at it going, man, get out of here, man.
Yeah, I need to check that. Is that them? Is that really them?
Is that you? Like, are you catfishing me? Like, get out of here, man. Like, you trying to get my social? Is this Nigerian prince somewhere who needs some money? Like, come on, man, let's get out of here. But they were serious. It's like, no, man, we really want to put you in our game. And they were like, we want to actually feature you. And I kind of remember sitting there. I was like, what? And then, they told me what they wanted to do, and they were like, hey, I tell you what, give us some pictures that we need. Let us build you, your avatar, and then like get back to us and let us know what you think. All right, like, sure. So I gave them the pictures that they wanted, and I kind of forgot about it. I didn't think nothing about it. And then maybe like a month later, I get a DM that goes, hey man, this is for you. And I open it up, and I'd be damned that that's like me. And I was like, I'm in. Okay, all right.
Sold.
And it was cool, man. I've never been a part of that before. Now with the pandemic, things really slowed down, so we really haven't got a chance to move as much as we wanted to. But at the same time, though, actually, the pandemic actually worked out, because now with the new gen consoles coming out, as slow drip, like I moonwalked into a new Xbox. I just did it. I was like, but at the same time, now it's giving, they even says it's giving us more time to like fine tool everything and get these things together so that when the game comes out, it's 100% perfect. It's not buggy. Yeah. We're talking about getting me in to do some voice work, to do the mocap stuff. And I'm just like, yeah, man, just sure, dude, whenever you want me to come in, man, I don't know what's happening. This is awesome to me. You know, I'm gonna say some wild stuff in front of that microphone. But at the same time, man, it's awesome. I love video games, and you know, being in a video game is I think the closest thing like anybody's gonna get to be to immortality.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're immortal. You are immortal at that point, man. And it's dope knowing that like down the line, like I'll have kids and my kids will have kids. And my kids will have, and those my grandkids have kids, and they'll be like, hey, your great grandfather's in the video game. They'll be able to show it. Like, yo, that's like, that's your father, that's your grandfather, that's your great grandfather. It's like, yo, my great grandfather was in a video game and was a monster in a video game. That's awesome.
That is so awesome. It must be like, I mean, I remember being, I think every single one of us has created ourselves in a wrestling game or, a football game or a soccer game or whatever it is and been like, that's amazing. But to actually be
as soon as No Mercy's like, you can create wrestlers, I'm like, well, I spent, before the game even got started, I spent hours building different characters, then playing the game so I can unlock all the different moves and put it in there. Oh, the first thing I do when I get wrestling games is I create different people. It's so much fun. I enjoy it, man. It's the nerd.
Like any game where you have to like name yourself or create yourself. My wife will be like, "Oh, so how's your new game?" Like, I don't know. I'm like 6 hours in and I'm still creating myself. Yeah. I'm not even decided a name yet. I
gotta get the strike. I gotta get these combination of strikes right real quick. This thing flows. But I love that level of like detail in my games. I love that level of nuance in my games because that stuff is what sucks me in.
Yeah.
And that's what captures me. And ultimately that's what makes me a fan.
Definitely. I really can't wait for it, especially, we had 2K come out and it was full of bugs. It lost a massive amount of audience and people. We've got AEW games coming out. Obviously, 2K is going to come back with their next version. But what I loved about, especially the virtual basement side of things, it came from nowhere. Literally no one was talking about it, and then boom, out the block, they just had legend.
Right. And it's almost like, and everybody's like, oh snap, 2K's got some competition. And so two things are gonna happen, man. Either virtual basement's gonna come out the gate really hard and they're gonna make 2K sweat. And when 2K starts sweating, either 2K's gonna fold, which they're not, or they're gonna make a better game.
Yes, exactly. Yep.
And then we all win.
Yes, competition.
They made a better game.
Competition drives quality, yeah.
Absolutely. Right, we all won. They made a better game, man. Competition, man, really brings the best out of people. Definitely. And sometimes brings the worst out of people. So it's just one of those things that's just like, all right, cool. Like, all right, 2K, this is what these guys are doing, man. It's like, check that rear view. They're coming up hard. What are you going to do about it? Because Vince can't sign them all.
No. He really can't. Speaking of making yourself immortal, however, the WWE Hall of Fame is on shortly. We've got 2 classes getting inducted this year, obviously, because of the pandemic. What are your thoughts on wrestling Hall of Fames in general, considering, WWE can't put a lot of legends in its time in there due to obviously not being around in their specific company. So what do you think of Hall of Fame? Do you think WWE are right to have such an iconic Hall of Fame, or should it be a wrestling Hall of Fame overall?
No, I don't mind a WWE Hall of Fame. It has its place. You have different states that have like Alabama has its own wrestling Hall of Fame, and I believe even Georgia has its own wrestling Hall of Fame. So it definitely has a place in the spectrum that is wrestling, and we need to honor those men and women who came before us and who have really really blazed the path for all of us, for fans and for wrestlers and referees and all managers alike. You have to respect the past so you can understand the present, and then you can see the future.
Yeah.
So stuff like that, man, you need to. It's nice to know that when it's all said and done, and your phone rings, hey man, we're gonna enshrine you in the Hall of Fame. Like that means something to people. It's like, cool. My career just wasn't all right. Get out of here. Like, no, man, you really put a mark on people. And some people like it, some people don't, and I get it. For me, I'm kind of like, whatever. Hey man, good, congratulations. You definitely deserve it. But as long as at the end of the day, we are doing it right, I don't have a problem with it.
Definitely. I really love the way the Bump's done it recently with Molly Holly and Eric Bischoff being told live. It has that different feel, doesn't it? It has that different. What do you think about them two going into the Hall of Fame?
It's about time. It's about time, man. I remember Molly Holly running with Hurricane, and I loved it. I thought it was absolutely hilarious.
It was.
And like I said, Bischoff was at the height of Bischoff. You are now seeing what. Let me rephrase that. What Paul Heyman is now is what Eric Bischoff was then.
Yeah.
And it was when you thought you had that dude licked. He had one more trick up his sleeve, And like, say what you want to about Eric Bischoff, think what you want to about Eric Bischoff. That dude was smart. That dude had a mind for the business. That dude had a mind for TV. And I mean, and I tell people all the time, like, there's some people who just aren't old enough to understand. Like, yo, Eric Bischoff was the only man to have Vince McMahon on his heels, and had him on the ropes. He had Vince McMahon on the ropes, and it's me and Vince. Here we are. So you have to respect that guy who came to the biggest dog in the park and punched him in the face.
Definitely.
And then goes, I run it now. And for a while he did. And I was like, oof. So for me, it was like, cool, man. Like he deserves that, man. That's a long time coming. And even though I've never like met him personally, I'm very happy for him because he earned it. That's well deserved.
Definitely. I mean, me and Deez can say we reached out to him just like we reached out to you. He didn't ask for anything other than, give me a time slot, we'll come on. And to be honest, he's one of the nicest people we've ever spoken to.
He was an absolute gentleman. Like I went into that like, oh, what's he going to be like? Is he going to be like how he is on telly? Is he going to be?
Honestly,
honestly, hands were sweating. Like, hi Eric, hi, how are you? And he was so good. He was so down to earth and just completely different to what you see on the TV. I'm thrilled for him. Really thrilled for him. Same, like you said, same for Molly Holly. All of them, like the NWO, the Bellas, Batista, everyone that's going in this year, last year, whatever. They all deserve it for their own reasons.
Right. There's a reason why their name's being called right now, and you have to respect that. You have to respect that.
Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Right. So coming back to Ring of Honor. Ring of Honor have signed some great talent recently. Snapped up EC3. That's a massive, massive sign-in. Bestia Del Ring. Obviously tied down talents like Rush, Dragon Lee. First of all, what do you make of these signings? And is it sort of like a signal of intent of what Ring of Honor are trying to do? Or I've seen people say, oh, they've only signed EC3 because he's ex-WWE, or to stop him going from elsewhere, stop him going to Impact, stop him going to AEW. And do you think signings like this are what Ring of Honor need to help them hit that next level?
Yes and no. Yes, in the sense of like this is like an arms race. Everyone's trying to get the big guns and this, that, and the other. But sometimes just because you have the biggest gun doesn't mean it makes the biggest splash or makes the biggest boom. You sometimes just have the biggest gun. At the same time, when there's a method to the madness. And there is a vision that Ring of Honor has, and the people they are signing fits that vision. Just because you have a big free agent on the market, like if you have a stud quarterback, he may not be a household name, but if you have a stud quarterback and he's good, and the rest of the world knows he's good, but then Tom Brady's on the market, do that mean you just go sign Tom Brady? Go, yo, just bring him in? Like, no, you don't need them. Yeah. So somebody else can have them, you know, and that's what we're doing here. Like it's a giant team, and we're trying to make sure that everybody that comes in fits the vibe and fits the mold of the team because we're trying to win.
Yeah.
Win what? I don't know, but I just know we're trying to win. But
You'll win. You'll win.
Yeah,
You always win.
But it's one of the things I'm like, you know, we sign who we sign because there is a reason why they fit what we're trying to do. They fit. There is a EC3 shaped hole that he fits perfectly. So let's have him fill that hole. So like, you know, every time Ring of Honor signs people, they re-sign people, I get excited. Man. I'm like, cool, because I want to wrestle everybody. Like, I want to wrestle that guy now. I want to wrestle that guy now. Great, I want to wrestle this guy now. You know, and so when we get stuff like that, I'm like, all right, cool, man, good. There's one more guy that I get to test myself against. I keep saying that I want to be the best, one of the best wrestlers in the world. Well, there's only one way that I get to do that, and I have to wrestle the so-called best in the world. And if you're coming to Ring of Honor, I'm assuming that you're one of the best in the world. Cool, we need to wrestle.
Definitely.
Yeah, man.
Definitely. I mean, what I love about it as well is that, you know, it has to fit, doesn't it? It has to fit for both. Ring of Honor need that person, but also that person might need Ring of Honor. And I think with these signings, you know, EC3 could have went anywhere. Let's be honest. He could have signed for any number of companies out there. Especially the way he reinvented himself after leaving WWE. It was great to see. But he must have had so many offers on the table. So the fact now that you have the opportunity to stand across from him in that ring, seeing how his careers went over the last 5-6 years, does that inspire you, as you said, to go that next level, to really even push yourself further, to go, I'm going to not only beat him, I'm going to get better than them?
Of course. I'm a real competitive bastard, man. Like everything I do, man, I'm going to beat you. And even if I lose, I'm like, we're going to do this again, man. I don't like this. I don't like losing. There's one thing I hate. Though as much as I love winning, I hate losing. I hate it, man. I hate when people are like, yeah, I got you. I'm like, mother.
Do you hear that, Virtual Basement? He better be 99 on your ratings, otherwise he's going to come for you.
I get one screenshot of me getting pinned, boy. Oh man. But yeah, like I like to compete, and I joke when I say, you know, winning, losing is whatever. I want to know that I can hang with you more than anything. I want to know that it's like I don't need anybody to carry me. I'll be right next to you. And if you ain't careful, I'm gonna set the pace too. You know, now you got to keep up with me. I enjoy it because that becomes more of an inner competition. Like, hey man, you gonna let this dude just run past you like that? Or you gonna keep up? All right, come on, let's go get it. Come on. He's running away from you. So you know that type of stuff. It's more of an internal thing for me. Of I see these people come in, and I'm like, all right, man, this guy's better than you, so let's get better.
Yeah.
You know, and so that either we can be as good as him or we can be better than him. You know, and then we can go from there.
Brilliant.
It's one of the things we always say we respect about Ring of Honor is I put out a tweet not long ago. AEW have got 92 active wrestlers signed to their roster, and obviously they've got one main roster show. WWE have got 2 main roster shows, but they've only got 95, so only 3 more than AEW have got. And the last time I checked the Ring of Honor roster, you're only talking about sort of like 40 to 50-ish, maybe that's across the men and the women. You're not signing people just because they're there to be signed and then not know what to do with them, which we see so many times. So many times we see people called up from NXT and everybody cries like, oh no, they're going to waste them. They don't have a plan. They don't know what to do with them. WWE don't know how to utilize talent, but you guys really do know how to utilize. I know this is basically what you've just said, but I'm just interested in sort of like the numbers side of it. You've got one main roster show, just the same as AEW have got, and yet you guys have got like half the number that they've got, but you're regularly seeing your roster. You're seeing them on TV. You're seeing them utilized, seeing them develop, seeing them in meaningful ways. You know.
Hey, like they always say, man, less is more.
Yes.
Less is more.
Yeah.
I enjoy the fact that we have a small roster. So now it's one of those things but because we have a small roster compared to, some of your bigger companies out there, now when guys are on TV, guys are on YouTube and stuff like that, it means more.
Yeah.
Because hey man, you you got to produce, man. We don't have this many people. You got to produce. You have to go out there and say that you are the best, and then you got to go out there. You got to prove it day in and day out, day in and day out. And it's great because guys are proving it. It's not like, oh man, I'm going to be here today and I'm gone for another 3 months. Like, no, man, I'm going to wrestle Tuesday, then I'm going to wrestle Wednesday, then I'm going to wrestle Thursday, I'm going to wrestle Friday, then I'm going to wrestle Saturday, then I'm going to go home on Sunday and die.
And do a podcast.
After this podcast, I'm going to go home and die. But it's just one of those things where you're just like, okay, cool. Not to mention on top of that, the roster gets really gets gelled perfectly.
Yeah.
Because there's only so many people. Everybody really starts to get on I guess that the phrase would be the old hive mind of, hey man, we're here to make the show great. And if we get over in the process, awesome. But we're here to, we're here to make the show better. Therefore, I make the guy I'm with better. And once again, a high tide raises all ships. Because now instead of 90-some guys and you don't know what to do with half of them, here comes Ring of Honor with 50 guys, 50 men and women. They know what they're doing with all 50 of them, and everyone's rising to the top.
Exactly. And I don't keep mentioning him, but even like with EC3, he was out of contract for how long?
A while.
Yeah, 6, 7. Well, over a year, I'd say, until he signed. Yeah. So again, this person has sat there knowing what the industry's got, and he can see, I can have a feud with that person, like you were saying, O'Shea, I can have a feud with that person, or, once I've gone through that, I can then connect over to here. And it's what Ring of Honor really, it works. Once a feud's over, what that next feud
what the next step is, right.
Exactly. Right. That's why I love the company. I'll be honest. That's why I love the company.
We're looking out for each other, aren't you? It's like a small family where you're just trying to help each other get to that next level and improve. Whereas I imagine in WWE, from 1 week, maybe 1 month to the next, some guys don't even see their colleagues, because there's so many of them, or if they're not being used, there's no plans for them that week. They probably don't see each other from 1 month to the next. Whereas you guys, and especially with your bubble recently and over the last year, you're constantly together, you're constantly working, you're constantly looking out for each other, and it's good to see. Right. It's beautiful to see.
Yeah, man. I love the dynamic that we have in Ring of Honor. There was a reason why I wanted to work here. There's a reason why I talked so much nonsense to get here. Because this is where I wanted to be. This is where I wanted to work. This is where I will want to work. Because of it. To me, this is my level of success. Yeah. I don't say that I've made it yet, but I'm here. And now that I'm here, man, I ain't going nowhere.
Definitely not. And as you said, this week of recordings that you've done really has shown that you are here. You are here, my friend.
So tired, guys.
Well, we're on to one of our brand new segments of the show. It is the quick fire round. What we like to do here is just, and you're very tired, so these answers might be better than we're hoping for. Yeah. So what we'll do, we go back and forth between me and Deez, and we'll just ask you a quick question. It's the first thing that pops into your mind. Now, we may stop, we may laugh, we may ask you to go further into detail, but it's literally the first thing that pops into your head, okay?
Okay.
Right, okay. So I'll start. So have you ever IG'd your food? And if so, what was it?
Say it one more time.
Have you ever Instagrammed your food? And if so, what was it?
Sushi. I was in Toronto. It was the first time I got to go to Toronto, and I loved it. And had a sushi joint. It was so good. I'm a sucker for sushi. One of my hidden talents is the fact that I'm pretty good with a pair of chopsticks.
Nice. I can't use them.
Sushi. Yeah, I'm like, sushi. Give me some sodium-free soy sauce. Give me like a little dollop of wasabi. I mix it up, and I sit there and I'll get like 4 or 5 rolls, and I'll go to town on that thing, man. I go to town on it. And because I'm such a sucker for it, man, I always get like extra ginger. So what I do is like I'll eat, like, let's say I get like 5 pieces in a roll, I'll eat like maybe 3. And then what I do is I chew a piece of ginger, cleanse my palate, and then I go into that way I can taste the flavors of the next one. And that's what I do all day long. I'll sit there all day long and just crush sushi. So good.
I love it.
Right. How long can you hold your breath?
Last time I checked, it was 75 seconds.
Nice.
Yeah.
Pasta or pizza?
Yeah. It was a while ago, so chances are that's probably gone down now. But my lung capacity is pretty good, man.
It has to be, doesn't it, to go for the consistency of the match?
Yeah, I used to like I said, I was a fireman for a long time. So like I do the tricks of the trade, and we did a thing called skip breathing, where what you do is you take a deep breath and you hold it, and then as you feel as if you kind of
yeah. He's breathing out for those who don't know.
Yeah, I'm doing it at the same time as well. I'm trying it now.
So I usually exhale 3 times with that one breath, and then I just and I do it again.
Yeah.
And I can talk holding my breath right now. And that's how, like, if I know I'm tired, that's how I do it. I just take a deep breath and I just slowly let it out. And I take another deep breath and I slowly let it out. Like,
so the longest you can hold your breath for is 90 minutes, because that's how long you've been on with us.
Oh, really?
Right. Pasta or pizza?
Pizza all day.
Yes.
All day.
All day. How many cups of coffee per day?
0. I don't drink coffee.
Do you have any energy drink?
Oh, Red Bulls. Yeah, Red Bulls.
How many Red Bulls do you drink?
Oh,
Too many.
Yeah, more than, like, honestly, like on a normal day, man, it's I just get, like, in the morning, I'll go to like my little corner store, and I just get the big boy, and then I just kind of like crash. I just kind of sip on it like throughout the day. Yeah. And usually by lunch I'm done, and at that point it's just water. Like, I don't drink coffee, but yeah, man, coffee smells amazing.
I'm the same. I love the smell of it. I can't stand the taste of it. It absolutely drives me insane.
I call it hot bean water. I'm like, yeah, you know your hot bean water. I just want to smell it. Like, that's it. I don't want to drink it. I just want to smell it.
Just because we're trying to get sponsored by them, a big shout out to Sneak Energy Company.
Yeah.
Come on, guys. Like,
or Starbucks. That'd be fine as well.
Yeah, we'll have Starbucks as well.
Why not?
Hey, guys, what are you waiting for? Sign these guys. Come on.
Yes, thank you. We'll click patties.
Put the money on the table.
I think we know this already, but how many hours of sleep do you need?
Honestly, if I can get between like 5 and 6, I'm good to go. Depending on the days I've had before, a little longer, but usually I'm about 5 or 6. And I'm pretty much up and at them again. I wake up early. Like, usually during the week I'm up by like 5 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. Just because my day gets started, because that way by the time I get home I can just relax a little bit. But for the most part, like, I'm in the bed by like 11:30. I finally crash. Of course, my alarm goes off at 5. That doesn't mean I'm getting up at 5. That just means that's the first time I hit the alarm. It's like 5 o'clock. But, you know, like, nope, not right now. But it's nice to know at least I've opened my eyes at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, texting or talking?
Texting. Please don't talk to me.
Same. Leave me alone.
Yeah, just do not phone me.
Yeah, just text me, please. I can say so much in a text. And like, because there's so many times, man, but people want to call me, I'm like, nope, voicemail.
Busy.
Yeah, busy. And I'm not busy. I'm just sitting at home. I'm like, I still want to talk.
Yeah, that's easy. If you ever phone him again and you get buttons, you know why now.
Oh, yeah, exactly. When you go ship the voicemail, don't take it personally. I still want to talk to you right now.
Would you rather climb a mountain or jump from a plane?
Jump from a plane. That is on my bucket list to go skydiving. But I know some people are like, hey, man, there's a weight limit. I'm like, brother, if there's a weight limit, I'm boned. I'm 270. Dog, whatever. So everyone's like, well, you have those little buildings where you can just like get this big wind tunnel. I'm like, yeah, those are fun, but
it's not the same.
I want to jump from a perfectly good airplane. I just want to jump from a perfectly good airplane. That's what I want to do. But that's on my bucket list. I want to skydive so bad.
Awesome.
Right, this is a proper quick fire one now. I don't want you to think about this too much. Who are your 3 dream dinner party guests?
I meant to ask before, dead or alive?
Either.
Dead or alive, either.
Okay. Malcolm X.
Yeah.
Gandhi, and JFK.
Oh yeah. What a party that would be.
That's a party, yeah.
That's a party. That's a party, man. I would really love to sit down and it's been one of the few times where I don't say a word.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, man, I just want to hear you guys talk. That's it, man. I just want to hear you guys talk.
Yeah.
You know,
Text me. Just text me.
Just text me. Yeah, just text it to me. Yeah. That's I'm a history kid. And with the way things have been going in the world and a lot of tension, this, that, the other, man, it's something where I've always wanted to be like, man, I wonder how those people who really shaped the culture and shaped the world before we all even born, man, what would they think now?
Yeah.
And stuff like that, man, just really makes me wonder, like, okay, what would happen if Malcolm X never got shot? Man, can you imagine what America looked like if JFK didn't get shot?
Yeah.
What if Gandhi didn't die? Like, how would the world been shaped if they were still here? And more importantly, what do you think they would think now to see the world the way it is?
Yeah.
You know, is this a success? Is this a failure, or is just more we're just still fighting the same fight we've been fighting for hundreds of years?
Yeah, I think well, yeah, going back to that, I think we are fighting the same fight right across the board. I just think there's so many more fights on top of that same fight that everyone's all having at the same time. So having those 3 people there would be fantastic, wouldn't it? Just to get their thoughts on.
Of course.
Right, moving on to the next one: The Rock or Stone Cold?
The Rock.
Yes, jeez. Yes, that's
We're keeping we've got like a league table and everybody's gone for The Rock.
It's always The Rock, man.
Don't
get me wrong. At the time, Stone Cold was the moneymaker. You know, he was the guy. Don't get it twisted. But man, you want to talk about somebody who just had them, who had the people. Like, yo, man, it was The Rock, man. And then the longevity of his career and the evolution of his career, the diversity of his career. I'm like, yo, he turned a wrestling career into a multi-million-dollar company that stands on its own. Yeah. Come on.
He's doing everything, isn't he?
He's the biggest name in the world, isn't he? He's a megastar. There's not many megastars.
But he's so humble. That's the difference. That's why he works.
Right. The funny thing is, like, you see Stone Cold and you know, oh man, Stone Cold used to be a wrestler. Yo, you see Hulk Hogan, Hulk Hogan used to be a wrestler. You see The Rock, like, oh, The Rock acts. No, dog, he used to be a wrestler. No, he used to be a wrestler. Like, he was the best wrestler. Yeah.
To be fair, though, if you put a picture of The Rock now and The Rock 20 years ago, it's like you wouldn't even connect with people. Yeah.
And there's a generation of people who don't know that.
No.
Who don't know The Rock wrestled. And there's 2 WrestleManias I love, man. It's 17 and 18. They were the best WrestleMania to me, man. The Rock and the Stone Cold in Houston. And then 18, The Rock, come on. Stone Cold and Scott Hall taking one of the best stunners known to man. Yeah. And The Rock and Hogan. Like, Stone Cold was a better wrestling draw, man. But culturally, man, The Rock shaped. He shaped the culture, man. He has words in the dictionary. Come on. Name another one. Name another dude who has words in Webster's dictionary. You can't. You can't.
You can't. And going back to that match with Hogan, I tell you, if you need to show anyone how to own a crowd, it's not even about the moves you're doing in the ring. It's about taking in that moment.
I am so glad you said that. To watch that match and watch the crowd go bananas, and these guys have done nothing.
Yeah.
They're just standing. Just the fact they're in the ring together.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch that today, man.
I'm gonna do the same. I got goosebumps thinking about it then.
I did as well.
I did. Watch that today, man.
Okay, right. Last one. What was your childhood nickname and why?
I tell you what, I'll tell you my fire department nickname.
Yeah.
And there's a funny story behind that. So when I was in the fire department, they called me Pork Chop. And it's stuck to such a point to where, like, on my helmet, they actually bought those reflective metallic stickers and they put it on the under. So when I come to work and I go, yo, who the hell did this? You know, but of course at that point in time it stuck, you know. So when I was a rookie, for most people who don't know, what we do is, like, we all eat together, we all live together, you know, we're in the same room, da 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 da. So in the South, we have like these little tenderloins. We just call them pork chops, whatever. And it's for breakfast. They're small. You know, we're not eating half a pig for breakfast, which I wouldn't be too mad at.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'd do that.
I said it. I was like, that sounds delicious. So
Pig, WrestleMania 18. That's all you need.
Perfect Sunday.
Yeah, WrestleMania 18 and like a plate of bacon. That's what I'm gonna So the unspoken rule in the fire department was that, hey, if you hungry, you'll eat. Because we have a long day. We're gonna be here for 24 hours. So if you're hungry, go eat. So we're eating breakfast, and I'm 20, man. I'm brand new. I'm living by myself. I barely kick it home. I'm starving. I went to work to eat. That's why I went to work. I went to work to eat. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm eating. And so what happened was, I'm like, all right, cool. Well, if no one else is going to eat, then I'm just gonna, take these last little things. So I'm eating, and someone goes, hey, who took the last pork chop? And I'm sitting there with a forkful just going, looking around, and I'm not saying anything. I'm like, So of course, one of my officers is like, hey man, he's looking around the table. Hey man, did you get a pork chop? Nah, man, I didn't get a pork chop. And they're all lying. I'm like, I watched you eat one. And he's like, did you get a pork chop? Nah, man, I didn't get a pork chop either. And they go around the table. And the whole time I'm like, man, here, because I'm the new guy. So I'm like, here we go. And so all of a sudden they go, hey man, did you eat the last pork chop? Yeah. And so all of a sudden they go, you know what? That's your new name. We're going to call you Pork Chop. And I just went, man. And I was hoping really hard that it wouldn't stick. But then it was the first time someone goes, hey, Pork Chop. And like a dumbass, I go, yeah. Damn it. And then you knew. And so that was like my first assignment at my career. So like the crew that we had, they knew me as Pork Chop. And this is how much it got over, was the fact that if anybody else would call me Pork Chop who wasn't in that station assignment, guys would be like, hey man, you don't get to call him that. Only we get to call him that. And that was my thing.
He's
so,
our pork chop.
Yeah, so I had lieutenants who became like chiefs and everything. And here I am, like, I'm an officer. I'm in my career. I'm an officer now. And I'm having like my bosses call me Pork Chop in front of my own firemen. They're like, hey, Pork Chop, come on, man. You can't do this to me now, dog. I'm a lieutenant, man. Come on. Put some respect on my name. It's like, nah, man, you will always be Pork Chop to me. And I'm like, all right, man, cool. I guess I'm always going to be Pork Chop.
I think the bad thing about this story, O'Shea, is that we're going to share this as much as you are. So when crowds are back, expect Pork Chop.
Pork chop.
It lives on, dude. It so lives on, man. It's great. It's one of my favorite stories, man. It's one of my favorite stories.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for coming on today. We like to end all of our guests with kind of the same question. So what does the future hold for O'Shea Edwards?
Whatever I wanted to. Whatever I wanted to. Like I said, I've had some career defining matches. I've had some matches that I never really thought was going to mean anything to anybody, but they really meant a lot. The one match I can talk about. So Friday I was in Atlanta with Action Wrestling. IWTV folks, like, that is one of the best premier independents They just so happen to be in the state of Georgia. Like people come to Georgia just to wrestle them, just to wrestle there. There's a kid there named Alex Kane. I don't look in my rearview mirror a lot, but when that kid popped up, I checked my mirror because I knew that kid was coming. So when I got a chance to come to Action, they was like, "Hey, do you want to wrestle Alex?" And I was like, "Yes, I do. I want to wrestle him. Really, really, I want to wrestle him." And so we got a chance to wrestle. Come to find out, it might be like my last time at Action on Friday. So it was my honor to get to wrestle him. I got a chance to like say some words to him. And that was the match where, like I said, my partner was like, "Hey man, like you mean a lot to him." That match meant the world to him, and it made me feel good. It let me know I was doing something right. I was on the right path and all that good stuff. So that was one of the matches that I didn't know I wanted until I had it, and now I want it again. I will cherish that match forever. But in the world of Ring of Honor, you just got to wait and see, boys. You got to just wait and see.
I love it.
I got some things coming. You're gonna love it.
One thing I've got to say, O'Shea, it's for you and the rest of STP. All of you have taken your time out to come and speak to us, and me and Dee's just really appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely, every time.
Really means
and it's always so much fun. Like we've had a few guests, not naming any names, so it's a little bit sort of like standoffish, a little bit awkward. But you guys have just always been so humble and down to earth, and just easy to talk to.
That's what I'm saying. I'm just a guy, man. I'm just a dude, and I'm just here to have a great time. That's pretty much about it, man.
Thank you so much, Pork Chop. We really appreciate it. He didn't hate it, Deez. I called you Pork Chop, and you agreed.
Yeah. It's up here, man. I just answer, man. It's like
yeah. Before you go, is there anything you'd like to push, social media wise?
Where can we find you?
Yeah, man, you can find me on Twitter, Big Bad Kaiju. Find me on Instagram, Big Bad Kaiju, period, after every word. You can try to find me on Facebook. Like I always say, though, I'm not adding you, so sorry. There's enough weirdos on Facebook, man. Just find me on Twitter. No big deal.
And don't phone them, only DM them.
You can find like a lot of my merch online, whatamaneuver.net, /collections, /O'Shea Edwards. All that stuff comes up. All the shirts that I previously sold that I don't sell anymore on my table. So there's a lot of old school designs on there that I'm really proud of. I just don't want to get rid of, but they're there. So visit one, grab a shirt, grab a hoodie, grab both.
Definitely. And if you head on over to my Twitter, that's at Faz's Thoughts, FAZZAS Thoughts. And Deez, you want to plug yourself and where you can find us?
Yeah, at PWCDs and just across the board everywhere at It's Our House Pod.
Yep, and if you head on over to Redbubble / It's Our House Pod, you will find our merch there. If you could subscribe, leave us a like, comment, all that cool stuff, you'd be really helping out the channel. But again, massive thank you to Mr. O'Shea Edwards. You've been an absolute blast, and I'm telling you now, we'll have you on again in the next few months.
Again and again and again.
Hey, I tell you what, you'll be one of the few people I'll allow to call me Pork Chop, so we're gonna be okay.
Oh, love it. Thank you, Pork Chop. You're a legend. Take it easy, guys.
Thanks, buddy, man. Y'all be good.